What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Christian Hanna Horror here today. And today, guys, we're going to look at a horror mail day. I've got some movies that I have been meaning to pick up that every time I go to get said movie, something else comes along and makes me push it aside and get something else. But there's a few movies in here that I've been meaning to get, and I finally got them, among with a movie that you're going to be surprised I bought, but I'll explain. The first movie I want to show you guys is Cutting Class. Now, Cutting Class is a late 80s slasher that actually features a famous actor here, Brad Pitt. Now, I got this movie because it was put over by Pizzal, and I've heard a lot of good things about Cutting Class. And I know that Vinegar Syndrome seems to do a really good job with their Blu-rays. I've had nothing but good experiences with Vinegar Syndrome, to be quite honest with you. So, I mean, it's no surprise that I wanted to get this, to be honest. Don't know anything about Cutting Class, and that's kind of how I want to approach this movie, is just not knowing too much about it. So this is a Blu-ray DVD combo. Got it from Vinegar Syndrome, and I'll let you guys know how I enjoy Cutting Class. Now, the next movie is a staple that I've been meaning to own on Blu-ray for a long time, and I just never got it, and Amazon would have it for pretty high prices, and I got tired of paying said high prices, so I waited, and it finally got pretty cheap, and I decided to finally get Fright Night on Blu-ray. Now, the great thing about this Blu-ray is it has got the best special features you can imagine. 2 audio commentaries, the You're So Cool Brewster documentary, which is fantastic. I put it on par with More Brains or the Crystal Lake to Manhattan documentary, or the Crystal Lake Memories documentary. I mean, absolutely fantastic stuff. It looks amazing. So much information. Great stuff. I'm so glad that this Blu-ray has this. I was not expecting that, but I'm so glad it does. What is the Fright Night featurette? Tom Holland writing horror featurette, among many more things. A lot of classic things, trailers, stills, all that stuff. This Blu-ray for Fright Night is 100% amazing, and I'm so glad to finally own it. I do think it's the greatest vampire movie ever, probably. Maybe besides the original Dracula. But I love this movie. I love this movie so much, and everybody knows it. I also love movies like Vamp, which is another great vampire movie. If you guys have not checked that out, be sure to check out Vamp. But Fright Night is the king to me. So in one of my previous videos, I stated I had never seen Creepshow 3 and I never planned on it. Well, my curiosity has gotten the better of me, and I picked up this Region ABC copy of Creepshow 3, and I watched it, and I'll tell you guys right now, I didn't hate it, but I did not really like it. I thought the movie had some potential, but it seemed like it just needed a lot more work. And, you know, the very beginning of the movie looked like it was done in Microsoft Paint. So that was really nerve-wracking in the beginning. I was like, oh God. You know, the first story and the last story, I kind of thought were okay. They just needed some work. You know, the issue, I think, is this is called Creepshow 3. And it has to follow the amazing Creepshow and the amazing Creepshow 2. And unfortunately, this is so below the mark compared to those two, in my opinion, that, you know, of course this movie is going to get lambasted by people. This was almost like late afternoon television horror, you know, but there was some actually nasty, gruesome stuff in here at the same time, but it had the temperament of that late afternoon TV horror. So I can't in good conscience recommend Creepshow 3, but if you haven't seen it, you know what? I do think if you go for it, you might get some enjoyment out of it. You know, you very well might. I didn't feel like I wasted my time watching this. I'm glad I have it. It's going in the channel House of Horror now, but it's the weakest of the 3. I'll say that. All right, the next pickup I got, guys, is a movie that was talked about by a number of people in my top 5 Italian horror movies that I loved, and also a guy named Jax, who's got a channel, Old Fashioned Slash, and who is constantly putting over Nightmare Beach to me. And I finally got my hands on Nightmare Beach, and I'm so excited to dive into this movie. I'm a big John Saxon fan. I really like him in these movies. I liked him in Tenebrae. Of course, Nightmare on Elm Street, he's great. And this has all the bells and whistles, I think, to be a fan favorite of mine. First of all, there's a 4K master on this Blu-ray from Studio Canal. And it's a late 80s, which is great because I really like the late 80s. I think this is 1988 is what it says. So I also see Score by Goblin, so that sounds great. And this movie, I remember seeing it a lot in the comments section of my favorite Italian horror movies. So that's really good. I think that's going to be good news for me when I finally decide to pop this in, which will probably be extremely soon, within a day or so. And if I love it, I'll review it. Now, as far as some recommends go, guys, the first one I want to do, if you look at my hoodie, you'll notice the name of a certain movie. I do want to put over Day of the Dead. It's my favorite of the Dead movies, guys. I do think that this is fun. Let me know your favorite of the Dead movie. I really want to know. Day of the Dead is my favorite, probably will always be my favorite. So I can't wait to know what your guys' favorite of the Dead is. But yes, Day of the Dead is my favorite. I also want to put over a movie called Monster Dog. Now, this is a good, bad movie. I would not recommend this to the average horror casual viewer. But if you're a hardcore horror fan, this is a good, bad flick, done by the guy who did Troll 2, which is amazing. And I'm an Alice Cooper fanatic, so he's in this movie, and this was during his blackout period when he was on drugs and he was at a low point in his career, and he did this movie. But I think this movie is really entertaining, just point blank, period. It's bizarre. My friend Lauren put it very good. It's as if aliens made a movie trying to simulate what they think humans, how they talk and interact, and that's what Monster Dog is. Perfect explanation. Definitely worth a watch. If you have not seen Monster Dog, I think you need to check it out. And the next recommend I have for you guys, it's not a horror movie per se, but I think it's the greatest movie I've seen so far this year, and it's very intense, very action, very suspense, some actual pretty nasty gore, but it's amazing. That's a movie called Brawl in Cell Block 99. That's right, this is a Vince Vaughn movie, guys. I was not expecting to have my world turned by this, but I was in disbelief at how good this movie was, guys. Brawl in Cell Block 99 was the most intense movie I've seen this year, and I absolutely loved it. I can't recommend this movie enough, so I definitely need you guys to check this movie out. If you have not seen it, that's Brawl in Cell Block 99. Definitely give that a shot. So that's the mail day, guys, among with some other recommends, and the Cell Block movie, I'm telling you, I really put my stamp of approval on that movie. It was amazing. Check that movie out if you have not seen it. As far as the recommends go, I think Nightmare Beach is going to be a hit. Hopefully, I think I'm going to love that movie. I really do. I've got a strong feeling I'm going to love it. So for now, this is Christian Hanna Horror. Please let me know your thoughts about those movies or about those releases. If you have any questions, let me know. Thank you to my subs. Thank you to my patrons. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you have not. Sub to the channel. It only takes a second. And we'll see you guys next time.